what makes Jason different from the massive sea of people like you? Give me that real quick. And then can you just speak to cheesy messaging on LinkedIn that people do trying to sell? It's just so terrible. I sometimes I just want to post it. I just want to copy and paste. I just want to be like, look at this shitty message that this person sent. I mean, this is just terrible. Like, I can't believe this person's in sales. So anyway, two parts there. What makes you different, and what advice would you give to people on their messaging, specifically emails? Go ahead.
But by the way, before I answer those, I've noticed that you haven't been responding to my emails and my LinkedIn messages trying to help you with your business.
That's right.
I don't know why that is, but we can talk about that later. No, seriously. What makes me different is what I have realized, like as far as like in the sales seat or with companies and helping their sales team, is that the time I spent in the desert, right? The literal desert, but also my mental desert years ago, I realized what made me effective and special was actually my windy path. It was actually my awkward only childness, growing up in a household where my mom literally hated salespeople. Now, some people get into sales and consulting, and it's because, dad was a salesperson or mom owned a business, and it's just like in their family, in their blood. Two analytical parents hated salespeople.
Interesting.
That's how I grew up, right? Like I repelled people. Like I literally, up to a couple years ago, I say, I don't really like people. And everyone would be like, you're ridiculous. Like, you obviously like people. I'm like, no, people are messy. I don't like them. That's my starting mindset. And the reason I mention that is because I think that's actually very valuable, because when I approach conversations, because I want to help people, I care about them, but I'm not trying to sell them. I'm not trying to manipulate them. I don't come from that long lineage. Of people who are like, oh, this is just what you do. You talk people into it and then you move on to somebody else. But I don't. And so for the longest time, I didn't have a label for it. But what I call it now, and the term I use, is authentic persuasion, which is what the book's going to be about. But that's what I help people do, is I realize the power in myself and my effectiveness in sales, in leadership, in convincing companies what they should do, or teams of people, like all of that is because the more authentically me I am, and my hot mess background, but bringing all that into the conversation and being empathetic and caring, combined with proactively, positively persuading people for the right reasons. When you combine those things, to me, that's ultra powerful. And it's the persuasion piece. The best example I give people is, imagine if you went into the doctor, and this is what salespeople do right now. That's just like, not the pushy people, we'll get to them in a second, but the order takers, is imagine you go into the doctor, your leg is broken, and the doctor says, your leg is broken, we need to get it fixed. Here's my card. Call me next week if you're interested. I'll send you a follow-up email. Let me know if you want to set a time to talk. Right? Like, no, you have a broken leg. I'm going to fix it. Any questions? This is going to hurt. And then they do it, right? Like, they assume that they're the professional. You have a problem. And so a lot of salespeople are order takers because they're not assuming they're the professional. They don't see themselves as the professional. And so what I do is focus more on empowering them to view themselves as the one who can solve their prospects' problems and help them in serious ways. No matter what it is, you could be selling marketing software, doesn't matter, but like, it's impactful. And so you sell from that place, and you can do amazing things and have amazing conversations that don't feel slimy or pushy or manipulative